I'm done. But I never thought that graduating would be so unsatisfying. It's Wednesday, and regardless of what the three letters behind my name says, I'm still unfinished. So, welcome and welcome back. This very expensive piece of paper says I'm Dr. Jones, but just call me Chelsea. I'm going to chat you up on what the finishing process looked like for me through the global pandemic, along with some insights on how to finish at home. You know the drill. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and follow me on the socials. I started my program back in August of 2017 and was on track to graduate for May 2021. Well, the global pandemic forced the US to shut down in March of 2020. This shutdown included transitioning in-person classes and academic responsibilities to an online format. The shutdown began during the week of my spring break. I had already made plans to travel to visit my fiance for the break. My university ended up extending the break for another week, then decided to switch completely online. I had already planned on relocating to where my boo thing was living by the end of the semester, so since everything had went online, I just decided to move a little bit earlier. I'll give you more details some other time on how that was for me moving during the middle of my program. My TAing duties were a bit tricky to figure out at first. I tried to be as accommodating for my students as I could be while still being mindful of my own boundaries. But for real, the students that I had that semester were already such a fun and good bunch to start off with that it made the transition just much easier. I had plans to present my dissertation proposal to my committee on May 1st, 2020. So when I realized that I wasn't going to be able to physically stand in front of my committee while sweating through a very nice blouse and speed mumbling through my presentation, I was just so disappointed. Typically, in the past, I really enjoyed speaking in front of groups of people, but as a grad student on their way to becoming an expert, that enjoyment has steadily gone to dread. Anywho, I proposed virtually and passed thanks to my handy dandy notes. My timeline included me finishing my research and defending my dissertation in a year, so about May 2021. As I revved up for my final year, I had to adjust to some unexpected changes because of the pandemic. For starters, finding a place to be productive. Initially, I thought that it wouldn't make a difference where I did my work as long as I had my computer and Wi-Fi. Back on campus, I had a shared office. The best grad student office in my department, in my opinion, and I didn't realize how much my productivity correlated with having a dedicated workspace away from home until I didn't have that luxury anymore. I had started working at the kitchen table in the meantime, and boy, was that a terrible idea. I usually thrive in well-organized environments with others who are also focusing, and my office on campus provided exactly that. At the kitchen table, I had papers, books, food strewn all across the table without any pressure from the presence of others to help me focus on my work. So, I started a YouTube channel instead of working on my research. But seriously, this became a huge problem. I tried to solve this issue by using the spare space in our home to make a makeshift office. I say try and makeshift because although we had the space and the desks, we didn't have the intent to truly transform it into a conducive productivity space. What I mean by that is we weren't mindful on how we set the room up or what we put in it. Rather, it was a room with 2 desks and a lot of things that we didn't organize. So, a storage room. We decided to fix that problem after a while and invested our money and time into a true productive workspace for both of us. And voila, my starry backdrop and YouTube studio were born. That fixed one problem. The other was the camaraderie that motivated me to get my work done. It was difficult to stay focused when I was isolated from the rest of the world. My most productive times have always been in libraries, tutoring labs, or other shared areas. I needed a lifeline, and an angel by the name of Quinn threw me one. She tossed out the idea that we schedule Zoom meetings for us to get work done. This is our We're Productive People Time, WPP. It's an accountability tracker and a way for us to swap ideas. It was a great way for us to replicate what we had in our offices before. Although lacking in the ability to share sympathy hugs, It was also without some of the discomforts you might find with office sharing.
What else did the pandemic change about your finishing experience?
Well, I became slightly more comfortable in my program.
Houseway? How? You weren't even there anymore.
Exactly. I didn't have to deal with being the only Black woman in the program experiences being thrown in my face at every turn anymore. My new environment gave me the opportunity to not have to visually see that there were only 2 Black people in the department. More importantly, my encounters with those who perpetrated discriminative behaviors and expressed their internalized racist ideologies were practically gone. Because, come on, who in their right mind is going to go out of their way to send me an email to tell me how articulate I am for a Black person? Nobody. With the absence of these types of experiences, I became slightly more comfortable, which translated positively to my productivity and how I viewed my research. Okay, so now the finish line. I defended my dissertation Friday, April 30th, 2021 at 2 p.m. Central Time via Zoom right here. I was super nervous, but prepared, and I passed. Details about that experience you won't find in this video, but I will tell you that I felt slighted out of the traditional experience that I had always dreamed about. I always saw this as a rite of passage, and even now, I kinda don't feel like I fully earned my PhD because I didn't have a traditional defense. Yes, I know, I've earned it through hard work and dedication, but still, I feel like I got a championship ring, but I rode the bench the whole season. I'm on the team, but I ain't do nothing in the game. So this feeling was definitely reinforced when we didn't have a proper graduation ceremony. On the day of graduation, I went to campus, took some photos, but it still wasn't the same as walking across the stage and being hooded by my advisors. Truth be told, I am low-key salty that the pandemic cheated me and a lot of others out of the milestones that we all deserved. However, I am glad that I made it through the rest of the year and I was able to learn a lot of patience, humility, and skills along the way. Thanks for tuning into this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you like the video, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one very soon. Okay, bye!